well if need be, if we're not in either one of those areas.
Rate and engage. Find your focus. Have you ever wanted to go above and beyond for your community? Volunteering for your local fire or EMS department is your opportunity. Join a family that will serve with you, always have your back, and train you to be the best version of yourself. As a volunteer, you will meet new people, learn new skills, and make a meaningful impact. Learn more at makemeafirefighter.org. That's makemeafirefighter.org.
Wissota 100 is determined to bring even more world-class racing. The Honey Badgers, one of the Midwest's premier cover bands, will take the Wissota stage Friday night. And your weekend. Kick off your weekend with a great concert thanks to Ray Seaver and Wissota 100. Details at wissota.org.
The Speedway Motors Wissota 100, fueled by Minnesota Motor Company, Wash and Go, Falls Laundromat, and KJ Country 96.5. Next week at I-94 EMR Speedway, Fergus Falls. Tickets and camping info at wissota.org. Drivers from around the upper Midwest will compete to be awarded Speedway Motors Wissota 100 champion. Catch the action live on KJ Country 96.5 and with the Fergus Now app. Special thanks to Swanston Equipment, Buyer Towing and Transport, and West Metro GMC Buick. The Speedway Motors Wissota 100, where adrenaline meets excitement.
Becker County. Your news leader is News Talk 1250 AM KBRF Fergus Falls. Depend on it.
News Talk 1250 KBRF now presents The Coaches Show with Craig Olson. Brought to you by Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, LB Homes, American Federal Bank, American Legion, the Minnesota Motor Company, and by the Artisan Agency. Here's KBRF Sports Director Craig Olson.
Well, thank you, David Bishop. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the program as we are in week 2 of the fall sports season already. And we're going to talk a lot of Fergus Falls sports this morning. So in the next hour and a half, you're going to be educated about what's going on with the Otters and Spartan football. And speaking of Spartan football, 1:30 today at the college, the home opener for M State. Central Lakes Community College from Brainerd will be in town, and Jason Retzloff will be up there. He'll have the coverage on Channel 977 FM and AM 1020. And we look forward to that Spartan home opener today. We'll find out about the Spartans with Bernard Holsey, their head coach, coming in a little later on this morning. And before we get into our first interview with Nikki Weldy, talking Otter cross country, here are the scores from last night in high school football. The Otter football team scored 48 last night, so they beat DGF 48-29 in the Otters home opener. Great crowd on hand for that one. Also, Otter Tail Central and Underwood had a wild one. They played 2 overtime sessions, and OTC won at 32-26. Barnesville rolling early, as they always do, 56-12 over Roseau. Brian Strand's got another great club over there in Barnesville. Pelican Rapids put 52 on the board and won their game against War Road 52-27. Ashby Brandon Evansville outscored Rothsay 38-34. Belgrade Brutenell Rosa blanked West Central area 32-0. Hillcrest with a 56-26 road win at Ortonville. Ethan Swedberg ran for 5 touchdowns and threw for 2. That was a big night for that Hillcrest offense. Staples Motley beating Breckenridge 35-6. DL, the Otters' next opponent, handled Perham 35-8. Hawley 42, Frazee 7. It was Parker's Prairie over Walker Hackensack Akeley 36-6. Bertha Hewitt defeated Carleton 55-0. Hancock 30, Border West 28, Verndale 42, Sabika 20. New York Mills beat Pine River Bacchus 19-6, and Pillager shut out Wadena Deer Creek 48-0. Those were the high school football scores from around our area. We'll take our first break here on the morning coaches show, and we'll be back to talk cross country. Girls head coach Nikki Weldy of the Otters is going to be with us when we return on the Coaches Show here on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
Portions of today's program may be pre-recorded.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Highs level off around 70 today under mainly sunny skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows around 49. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies. Clouds on the increase Monday into Tuesday with highs in the mid-80s. Right now, it's 50 degrees.
Quality Toyota is proud to salute the achievements of each quality player. It takes teamwork to compete, and the Quality Player Award recognizes the extra effort by an individual in each athletic contest. Quality Toyota commends the hard work, dedication, and quality efforts of these outstanding youth. That attitude will help each quality player as they go forward. Congratulations to each of the quality players from Quality Toyota on West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls. QualityToyota.net. Let's go places.
The Fergus Falls Concert Association is celebrating 86 years of bringing outstanding music to this area. Memberships are now on sale for this season's 6 concert series. Plus, your membership extends beyond Fergus Falls. Enjoy concerts in Wadena, Sauk Center, and Alexandria at no extra cost. New this year, your membership card gives you discounts on concert nights at several local restaurants, including Don Pablo's, Mabel Murphy's, Socials Bar and Grill, and Union Avenue Bar and Eatery. Thanks to the generous support of these Fergus Falls Concert Association sponsors: Quality Toyota, Buyer Body and Towing, Nickel Moe and Ellig, Minnesota Motor Company, Olson Funeral and Cremation, and Glendy Nilsson Funeral and Cremation Services, Service Food, Otter Tail Power Company, Kreckelberg Law Firm, and Pioneer Care. Season tickets are on sale now at Victor Lundine's or through your neighborhood ticket seller. Inspire a lifelong love of music in your family with the Fergus Falls Concert Association.
Finding that missing shin guard, remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan. Oh, come on, Ref! That's simple human sense.
Visit the Arneson Agency at their new location, 120 East Lincoln, Fergus Falls.
Welcome you back to the Coaches Show on this Saturday morning as Nikki Weldy, the head girls cross-country coach at Fergus Falls High School, is with us this last week. The Otters were over in Detroit Lakes, and important day for you, Nikki, because you're on the course that's going to host the section meet this year. How important is that for a team to get, you know, that experience on the course that's going to be, well, pretty important to them at the end of the year?
It's pretty important to be able to see, you know, what they're up against. And the best part is a lot of the section teams are there. So at this time of the year, to kind of go head to head with some of them makes it just a really great opportunity.
And how did the Otters adapt to that course? I know, you know, we've talked about DL's course for years being one of the more hilly courses. That changed a little this year, but it seems like the Otters always do well there.
Yes, and you know the kids take the hills in stride. It is the most challenging course, I would say, that we run. They did take out 2 big climbs and modified that, kind of thinking sections and thinking about making their course just a little more manageable. People can really can get in their head a little bit on that one, and some of the kids were happy, and a few of them were like, "Oh, that's too bad." You know, they took that out because they knew what to expect.
And you know, the competition at DL, when you have the meet at a course that's going to host a big meet like the section, everybody in the section wants to get what you wanted to get, the experience on that course. So you had some really, really strong teams to compete against.
Yes, yep. And, you know, kids that we don't always get to see all season. You know, there'll be a few, so it was good to get head-to-head. You know, we've got some kids who have goals for state and what they want to do at state. So, you know, getting to see these other runners, you know, early like this is important.
Usual suspects at the top with Perham number 1, Alexandria 2, Wilmer 3, and then the Otters at number 4. It's going to be a competitive section meet, no doubt. But Cassie Wellman,
yeah,
she was the individual champion, and what a great race for Cassie.
Yeah, it really was. You know, she really wanted that, and she wanted to see, you know, where she was. Looking at numbers on paper isn't the same as running head-to-head, and she really commanded the race. You know, she wasn't afraid to pull away, afraid to run what she was feeling, and came out with a late season time. It wasn't a all-time PR, but she's not far off, and it's the second meet, so that's really exciting.
She was at state as a 7th grader, and again as a 9th grader. Now she's a sophomore. How have you seen her running style change since that 7th grade year, that successful first year? What makes her still a competitive and exciting runner right now?
Well, a lot of it is her just ambition. She really wants to get down to state, and she really wants to do something. She came into this season, there was just from the first step, she's just a, I don't know if you'd say different, just more driven maybe, and goals, with her goals and everything. I'm really expecting some really great things from her all season.
And she's ranked pretty high right now in the state too.
Yeah, yep, she's 11, and with her finish here, I hope she's going to climb that quite a bit, I would hope.
I know we touched on it last week with Derek when he was here for the boys and talking about the girls a little. You have 2 girls who are multi-sport athletes in the fall, playing tennis and cross country.
Yes.
So with Carson Lill and Allie Bradenberg doing both, it seems like, hey, they're doing pretty well in both, right?
Yeah.
It's not affecting them too much.
No, and youth is an amazing thing. I don't know. I look at it at 53. I look back and think, oh my gosh, how to balance all that. But no, they really want to run and they want to be at the team. They want to play tennis, and they're managing it well. And working with Jamie Lill has been just awesome. We know they have to pick a sport that's their primary sport, and tennis is. So we're happy when they can come and run with us. And then tennis ends really early. They'll get almost their whole October with us, and so I think it's just really a good match, our 2 sports.
Well, and Carson was your second runner across the finish line, 19th overall in this field. That tells me she's got a lot of potential in your sport.
Oh, she absolutely does. She's very, very new to cross country. She was one of our state competitors in the 4x8 as a 7th grader last spring, and track and cross country they're both it's all distance, and she loved working with our girls. They had great connection, and really loves running, and it's just going to come together for her. She's going to figure this cross country stuff out.
Yeah, it
throw a couple
looks
hills.
like she's right on target for
Yes,
that. So
yes.
how about Savannah Lee? She was your 3rd runner.
Yes, and she's just been consistent and solid for us. This is her first meet with us, and just picked up right where she left off, which is exciting because then you only have room to grow from there. So yeah.
And a lot of things happen in cross country every year. It seems like you have a group of competitors on your team that do what we call pack running, and it looks like you've got a few right here in the next group that are doing that, pushing each other and kind of feeding off each other.
Yeah, it's important. You just know they're competitive with each other, but at the same time you have that team support with you, and if one is successful, we can be successful together. That kind of a mentality, and so that's what we've kind of been seeing from Violet. And Olivia Swanson is new to cross country, worked on her for 6 years, and this late summer she sent me a picture of brand new cross country training shoes, and I said, "Are you trying to tell me something?" And she came out, and she's just been amazing as just a real stepping in as a senior leader, and and running her and having Allie and Julia, and then you got Hannah Scharnberg, so everybody just right there and working for those spots.
Overall, if that's the varsity group that ran for you the other day, what are the numbers like at JV, junior high? Are you pleased with where that is at?
Oh, we could always use more runners. We could always have more out there. We ran full 5-person teams for all of them. We had 5 runners in our JV and 6 in our junior high. Our sport can be hard to sell, and then you just want kids to get out there and give us a chance. I've got a really good pitch. When I can get with it,
You got it down by now.
I got it down, but I just think that the team connection and everything that we have going with our team culture, I think it kind of helps with running pain you might feel sometimes. So.
And as good as your pitch is, the best pitch comes from your team, doesn't it? I mean, the individuals on the team, the friends, the peer group.
Yep, we always ask, is there anybody you've been kind of trying to get to come out first, and then we sneak in the side door and help. So,
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, a great meet the other day, and of course, Cassie, congratulations on the individual championship. And then, if we can talk about the boys too for a minute here, they were second as a team, and this is going to be a challenging section for them also.
Yes.
But you know, that kind of sets the tone, doesn't it? Hey, look how we competed against this group, and these are the guys we're going to see at section time.
Yes, absolutely, and those boys are competitive to the nth degree. I mean, with other teams, but even within themselves. But again, team support. But they want those spots. They want that. I want to be in that second, or I'm going to move up to the, from the fourth to the fifth. So, again, it's going to be who's going to be those 5 and who's going to be those 7 at the end. So. Well,
I was just looking at it here, and the top 6 runners were in the top 26, and then Micah Mosher was right behind him at 32nd. You got 7 of your runners right there in the top 32, and it looks like they're pushing each other. I mean, there's a good competition within that team.
There is, and you have Brody Nelson, who just started to come on during the track season last year and just impressed all the coaches, and then has stepped in and run in this top 7. Solid, both these meets, and so we got some new faces, and he's a younger runner, and we're very senior heavy this year, but kind of getting some of that success and bringing it to next year is going to be important.
Michael Schmidt was 5th. He was the top outer finisher. Logan Bradenberg was 13th. Henry Granigo was right behind him in 14th. Then Jaden Miller 23rd, and Matthew Toole 25th. They're the scorers for the Otters in that team competition, where they finished second, well ahead of Wilmer, but well behind Perham. The Yellow Jackets, 26 points as a team. 15 is a perfect score there.
Right.
But wow, they're tough.
Yeah, they are, and they always, they've got somebody who will step into a senior's role, and
Yep.
so they've got, and Bjorn, their lead guy. I mean, he's just, it's is it gonna be, Sully from Wilmer? Is it gonna be the racing between those two is so much fun to watch. Yeah, and so they, they've got their runners mixed right in, but I do believe, we ran a little out of order, and I just think as the season goes, the boys are gonna really come together, and they're not done. That was just a test and a taste, dip our feet in the water.
Well, you look at the motivation. You look at the top of that finish list, and it's Sully Inez and Bjorn Anderson. I've been saying their names forever on the radio.
And they're head-to-head track and field and in cross country.
Yeah.
It's just,
just one of those, when you're a coach, you keep looking at that roster. Are they seniors?
They're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. It's like, oh. Okay, this week you go to Little Falls on Thursday, and that's just the opposite of Detroit Lakes, right? Yeah.
As far as challenging course, it's just flat and fast, and kids look forward to it. It's a nice trip, beautiful course right on the river, and like I said, flat does not. It's very comforting knowing that's coming.
Yes, it's one of those. I don't want to say it's like a week off or a vacation, but
in a way, Rick Corey has the next meet has a climb to the finish. At a good gradual hill, and so this is kind of a break.
All right, good. Well, good luck on Thursday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate it. Nikki Weldy, girls cross country coach at Fergus Falls High School, getting us going on the Coaches Show on this Saturday morning. Spartan Football 1:30 today on Channel 977 FM and AM 1020. Remember that. And the Bison kick it off today, too. 1:30 pregame, 2:30 kickoff on Real Rock Z103. Busy day. And then the Vikings tomorrow at noon on Z103. There's a lot of football going on. And we'll talk football next as Chris Grabowska, the head coach of the Otters, joins us after this timeout on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Highs level off around 70 today under mainly sunny skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows around 49. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies. Clouds on the increase Monday into Tuesday with highs in the mid-80s. Right now, it's 50 degrees.
I'm Jason Dynison. Republican Party officials are disputing reports that former President Trump is scaling back his campaign in Minnesota. MNN's Brent Palm has more.
GOP Chair David Hand called it a false narrative invented by the media. He says President Trump's team in Minnesota includes over a dozen full-time staff in every corner of the state working out of 13 field offices.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls has a fantastic starting lineup with America's 3 favorite truck brands, Ford, Ram, and GMC. Nelson Auto can help you enjoy your time out on the road. Check out our starting lineup at Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls.
And I'm Jason.
Hi, my name is Lori, and I'm the housing manager at Sheridan House in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. If you're 55 or older and looking for a quiet and comfortable apartment with underground parking, meals available for purchase, a flexible month-to-month lease, plus $500 off your first month's rent, give me a call at 218-998-7404 or go to lbhomes.org/Sheridan. I'd love to show you around and see if Sheridan House is right for you.
Fall is a busy time for many families. School, after-school activities, and so much more. But don't let your packed schedule get in the way of your family's health. September is Suicide Prevention Month, a perfect time to pause and reflect on your family's needs. Lakeland Mental Health Center is here to help. Visit lmhc.org with services available in Alexandria, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, Glenwood, Moorhead, Parkers Prairie, and Perham. LMHC is here today to help for a better tomorrow.
Quality Toyota is proud to salute the achievements of each quality player. It takes teamwork to compete, and the Quality Player Award recognizes the extra effort by an individual in each athletic contest. Quality Toyota commends the hard work, dedication, and quality efforts of these outstanding youth. That attitude will help each quality player as they go forward. Congratulations to each of the quality players from Quality Toyota on West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls. QualityToyota.net. Let's go places.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show Saturday morning on our KBRF YouTube channel as well as on News Talk 1250 KBRF. And Chris Grabowska, the head coach of the Otter football team, is with us. 48-29 last night, 407 yards of offense on the heels of last week's 39-point performance. You must be having some fun calling plays offensively, Chris, because you've got a lot of options on that offense.
Yeah, it's always fun when you have playmakers out there, and I feel like last night we were able to drive the ball, and we also had some big plays last night. So I mean, everybody's stepping up, and it starts up front with our offensive line, and they've been doing great all season. And we focused this week on getting better from week 1 to week 2, and I thought the boys responded really well. Great week of practice, and responded really well.
You know, that offensive line is a team within the team, kind of. You're a team up there. You've got to be working together. You know, it's not just I'm blocking this guy, you're blocking that guy. You got to have communication up there. Is this a strong group in that regard?
Yeah, I think they communicate well. They're friends on and off the field. I had them over for dinner last Thursday night for their performance because they didn't give up any sacks and they rushed for 200 yards. So. They just hanging out with those guys. They're a close-knit group, and they look out for each other. They play well, obviously, on the field, and it's just fun to be around that group and have a unit that cares that much for each other and sets the tone for us on the field.
Well, that's a pretty bold move on your part to have the offensive line over for supper. That had to be spendy. I mean, they can eat, you know, these linemen.
Oh, yeah. I think we had 10 pounds of meat or something like that.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, DGF got a field goal early, but then you got the ball in, 88 yards and cashed in on the touchdown on your first drive. With the weapons you have out there, sustaining drives looks like something that could be the norm for the Otters. You're able to keep drives alive and you know, just chip away at the yardage.
Yeah, you know, that's definitely something we've focused a lot on this season. I think, you know, if you look at last season, we were able to move the ball in every game that we played, but we couldn't finish drives. And that's been a point of emphasis this year. And, yeah, I was just really proud of how our kids were able to finish drives. And we said that on Monday of last week. I said, if we're going to beat a team like DGF, we got to be able to do that. And we definitely did that last night.
Yeah, that touchdown from Jack Ratz got you on the board, and then you had another, 69-yard drive, and Henry Bethel scored on a a 25-yard touchdown run. You had Jaden Hikas kick both extra points, and what a great start. I mean, you just had to feel at the end of that first quarter that, hey, this is a good night. We got it going.
Yeah, definitely first quarter up 14-3, headed in the right direction, and obviously I'm sure you'll point on it, but football is a up and down game. It's a roller coaster, and I just was really happy with how we came out of the gate. For the most part, I feel like we played 4 good quarters, minus that, a little bit in that second quarter. But yeah, definitely a great way to start the game.
Yeah, let's go to that second quarter because it started great. I mean, Isaiah Holmes goes, 70 yards for 50 yards for a touchdown on a punt return. Now you're ahead 20-3. You're cruising, you're coasting. This is easy, guys, right? Not so much. DGF has some weapons too, and they dominated the rest of the half and actually led at halftime. So was there a letdown on the Otters' part, or did things just take a bounce a different direction, or did they just get their wake-up call and start to play like they can play?
Well, I thought it was a combination of a lot of things. Technique-wise, we got kind of sloppy on defense, I thought, and offensively, we put them in good field position, I feel like, and definitely, I feel like it was a little bit of shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit, and putting them in. You can't put a team like DGF in good field position and expect them not to score. We made it easy for them in that second quarter, and didn't make them earn those touchdowns. So, yeah, once we cleaned that up, it was smoother sailing for sure.
What was the pep talk at halftime here? How did you handle that when you gave up the touchdowns that you gave up and found yourselves behind? How did you get them going again?
Well, we definitely didn't get down on the kids. I thought for the most part, we played a good first half. If we take away some mistakes, I think we go in ahead at halftime, and we just really challenged them. How are we going to grow mentally here? How are we going to handle adversity? And we got the ball to start the second half, and we can go and make a statement with that drive, and we definitely did that. And I was just really proud of how the kids responded.
Yeah, 82-yard scoring drive, and Jack Ratz, he's getting familiar with the end zone, Jack.
Yes,
receiving touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Yeah.
I could get used to that.
Absolutely. And you get in a short yardage situation down by the goal line, he's going to be tough to keep out of there at that line, leading the way.
Yeah, Jack Ratz, he's a big kid. He's a big target in the receiving game, and he's a great blocker out on the edge for us. And he can run the ball too. He's tough to bring down. So he's what I call a true H-back. He can do everything. He can play the tight end. He can play out wide. He can play in the backfield. So he's just a nice weapon to have.
So you're back on top, 27-23, and now DGF has to make an answer to what you just did. Wasn't the answer they wanted. They botched a snap on the punt, and your guys were all over it to recover the ball and put you in great shape.
Yep, yeah, so, special teams, we had some great special teams plays last night. They had some great special teams last night. There's some things we definitely got to clean up there, but that was a big play for us. And when DGF, when they get behind, that's kind of what we want to do to them when we play a team like that, get up on them and make them get away from what they do best, running the football. And we did a great job of doing that last night.
And Henry Bethel got his second touchdown, 1-yard run, and all of a sudden you've got that lead back to double digits at 34-23. If you're DGF and you're on the road and you just coughed up the football in that territory, there's two things that can happen. You can get deflated and just say, oh, that was not good, and now we're on the back end of a bad situation. Or you can, tighten the belt and get back to work, and they did. They scored, made it a 34-29 game at the end of the third quarter. So now it's game on for the fourth. And a lot of times you get to the fourth quarter, especially early in the season, and maybe you don't have the energy or the stamina, or it's just a tough thing to get out there and have that production you've had the first three quarters. But your guys seem to kind of get rejuvenated and get that second wind.
Yeah, I think that that's off-season training, that's conditioning, that's wanting it, and that's just willpower from our kids. And they went out and finished the game, and that's the difference between last year's and this year's team. And we're able to mentally finish these games, physically finish these games, and just really proud of our efforts in the fourth quarter and just going out there and getting another score and keeping them and catching up. Because, yeah, when you have a running offense like that, it's hard to catch up when you're down by a couple scores.
A 67-yard scoring drive, Levi King on the receiving end of a touchdown pass, and you scored again. Jack Ratz took the ball down toward the goal line, then lost the ball. Was it stripped from Jack? Or
yeah, I think he got tackled from behind and it came out, yeah. So I gave him a grief for that one.
But Levi King was right there.
Yes, he was. I think we had a couple players there, and Levi was fortunately recovered that one in the end zone. That would have been a tough one to not get. But we were in the right place at the right time, and that's sometimes how it goes.
Well, and you know, that's what a great teaching moment for the coaches too, to say, hey, you just don't ever quit on a play until that whistle. Looks like, you know, Jackson in the end zone, don't put your hands in the air and start celebrating.
Right.
Just keep following the play, because that ball can come out and you've got to be there to be on top of it. And, you know, kudos to Levi for being there.
I know. That's something we talk about. We have this thing, we call it cowboy mentality. You got to play every play for 8 seconds. And we definitely did that last night, and I think those are the types of things that happen when you play for 8 seconds, and you can extend plays, you can be in the right places at the right time, and yeah, kudos to our kids for embracing that mentality.
Some stats for you, okay. It's Mark Johnson, unofficial but pretty close, I bet.
Yep.
Henry Bethel, 16 of 18 for 219 yards. I mean, that's incredible efficiency. And to me, it speaks that your guys are running good routes, getting open, and Henry, the timing is there. Talk about your receivers and their connection with Henry and just the route running ability that they have and what you're seeing there.
Well, I think they're building trust with one another. That's the key, and definitely you talked about the timing. Timing is a critical piece in our passing game. Henry's getting the ball out quick. He's throwing it to the areas the receivers are going to be. He's leading his receivers really well. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're getting on the same page, and our receivers are not dropped. First week one, I thought we had some drop passes. I think it was 5 or 6 drop passes. We didn't have that last night. So kudos to our receivers for hauling in those passes, and Henry getting the ball out quick.
6 catches, 79 yards for Levi King. Jack Ratz, 3 catches, 72 yards. Alex Ellison, 4 catches, 48 yards. Isaiah Holmes, 2 catches, 20 yards. A lot of options for Henry there, too. Who's your go route guy? If you're going to do the bomb and want a quick strike, who are you looking at?
Well, I think any one of them can come up with the ball at any time. So I think it's a week-by-week matchup thing where we can feel like we can exploit the defense, and yeah, it's a week-by-week game plan type of situation.
The great thing is you have that variety of receivers out there, but you've also got a great running game with Henry. Henry can break one at any time from anywhere on the field, but Carson Froning is another back that has that breakaway ability, and he had almost 90 yards for you last night.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Carson's game last night. Usually we had that 3 running back attack, but last night Carson was just seeing the holes, and so we rolled with him, you know, and he just had a great game. I was really impressed with how he ran the ball against a physical defense, and yeah, he wasn't afraid to mix it up in there, so he was rewarded for sure last night.
219 passing yards, 188 rushing yards. You love the balance as an offensive coach that you have there and the play selection. Everything's on the table when you're successful with both the running and the passing game. You're going to see a team next week that has that same MO. Detroit Lakes won, 35-8 last night over Perham, and their balance, they had over 200 rushing yards, over 200 passing yards. This is a team that has a lot of weapons, too. Kind of feel like not seeing any game film from them, but maybe they're pretty similar to the Otters.
Yeah, I think DL's just they're a well-oiled machine. They have athletes. They put in the time in the off season. They have a lot of guys, from what I understand, coming back from last year. They think they're better than last year, so it's definitely going to be a tough challenge for us. And it's another test. Last night we challenged the kids. This is like taking a test. You got to put your best effort forward, and that's what we're going to be focused on this week. Just put in the time, get prepared as well as we can, and go in a game and see what happens.
How about that crowd last night?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. There's a lot of people there, and we took the fence out, so it was people sitting on the hill. So, yeah, it was a great atmosphere last night.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights at its best, for sure.
You can't beat it.
No, that was awesome. All right, how about the injury front? Everything okay there this morning? You heard?
Yeah, we got some nicks and bruises, but didn't lose anybody. So, yeah, we're definitely came out of that game healthy. And you know how football goes. You get bruises, and you got to kind of nurse yourself along. So that's kind of where we're at.
Right. You just hope your phone doesn't ring much this weekend, right?
Yes, yeah, so far so good.
All right, Coach, thanks you so much, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, Chris Grabowska, the head coach of the Otter football team, joining us here on the Coaches Show Saturday morning. We'll be back with more. We're going to talk Otter girls swimming and diving. Rachel Cox will join us on the other side of the break. This is the Saturday Morning Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Highs level off around 70 today under mainly sunny skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows around 49. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies. Clouds on the increase Monday into Tuesday with highs in the mid-80s. Currently, it's 54 degrees.
Student athletes have their eyes on the ball, making game plans, scoring points, breaking records. At American Federal in Fergus Falls, we know you have goals too. Whether it's buying farmland, business expansion, home ownership, or planning for retirement. Our trusted advisor, Dustin Morris, will help you find the best solutions and make the right calls. Make a winning appointment with an American Federal banker in Fergus Falls today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's to a great season for all our favorite high school athletes. American Legion is a favorite too and serves up everyone's favorite barbecued ribs. American Legion of Fergus Falls, open each Wednesday through Saturday on Pebble Lake Road in Fergus Falls.
Hi, my name is Lori from LB Homes in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. We are growing our talented and dedicated team of LPNs, CNAs, and RNs, and we want to hear from you. Join our team and make a difference in the lives of our residents every day. To explore or apply, visit lbhomes.org/careers or call Heather at 218-998-1400. LB Homes, caring for you wherever you call home.
Fall is a busy time for many families. School, after-school activities, and so much more. But don't let your packed schedule get in the way of your family's health. September is Suicide Prevention Month, a perfect time to pause and reflect on your family's needs. Lakeland Mental Health Center is here to help. Visit lmhc.org with services available in Alexandria, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, Glenwood, Moorhead, Parkers Prairie, and Perham. LMHC is here today to help for a better tomorrow.
WISSOTA 100 is determined to bring even more world-class racing. The Honey Badgers, one of the Midwest's premier cover bands, will take the WISSOTA stage Friday night. And your weekend, kick off your weekend with a great concert thanks to Ray Seaver and WISSOTA 100. Details at WISSOTA.org.
Saturday morning, that means the Coaches Show. And it means football. We've got the Spartans at 1:30 on Channel 977 FM and AM 1020. And the Bison over on Real Rock Z103 at 1:30 pregame, 2:30 kickoff. Vikings tomorrow at noon on Real Rock Z103. Right now, though, we're focusing in on Fergus Falls swimming and diving. The girls had a great dual win in Alexandria earlier this week on Thursday night. 105-81 was the final dual score. Rachel Cox is the head coach. Morning, Rachel.
Good morning.
Great win. I mean, we have such a rivalry with Alexandria in so many sports, and it seems like lately they've had the upper hand, so it's always fun to beat the Cardinals, but that could be a challenge there. That's a tough place to go compete.
Absolutely. It was a great meet. It was a lot of fun. I had it kind of scored out. I had an idea of how I thought we would do. We didn't we didn't do what I thought. There were some races that were really up in the air. They just went a different way, but overall we came away with the win. We've been really lucky. We have a deep bench, so even if Alexandria could get first place in an event, we were often getting 2, 3, 4, which is enough points to win that event. So our depth has really been our strength.
And your relays were really good.
Yes, absolutely. Coming out of diving, going into diving, we were tied. Coming out, we were 2 points down. And so at that point, I was getting really nervous. I wasn't sure how things were going to kind of flesh out in the end. But that first and second place finish in the 200 free relay really clinched it for us.
Yeah, and that's nice to have, like you said, the depth, because when you're trying to, do well with your second relay team, you need to have some options there. Are you settling in? It's early in the year, but are you kind of settling into what you're going to be doing relay-wise, or how open is that right now for swimmers?
It's open. I've talked to my team day one, saying we are going to just switch it up. Nothing's set in stone. All through the season, we're going to be switching people around, switching positions around. We just really want to have a lot of times behind us, a lot of data to consider when we go into sections and making those section relay lineups.
I know through the years, talking with Coach Uvis for many years too about the relays, and the Otters have always, it seems, had a strong 200 medley relay team, which is the first event of the meet to get that set the tone, and then always a strong 400 freestyle relay team, so you can finish strong, and if you need to, overcome a small deficit or just put a little more distance between you and your opponent. And I know that's been an emphasis over the years. Is that a pretty big emphasis for you going into the season to make sure those relay teams are set the way you want them, and the competition is there for those relays?
Yeah, I mean, relays are a huge part of the meet. I mean, there's more points to be scored in the relays. Our team historically has had a really strong medley relay, like you said, and for the past probably 5 years, we've been really strong in that 200 free relay, and we've kind of had a deficit in the 400. And it's hard when you don't have a big team to kind of scrape enough swimmers together in that last event. And that's another goal that I had this season for our swimmers. I want that 400 to build up, and we have had some amazing 400 relays this season. Our first dual meet against Brainerd, it came down to the wire. That was the most fun relay I've seen in a long time. It was so loud in there. It was deafening. And now all of my girls want to turn on the 400. That wasn't always the case. Like, I want to give it a try. I want to see how I can do. So it's gaining some excitement and some traction with the team.
Talk about your distance swimmers, because that's another area where it seems like a lot of teams struggle to fill the 500, especially. But it seems like you've got some girls right now swimming that 500 who could be impact swimmers for you in the distance events.
Yeah. Estee Versteeg swam it a lot last season. She had a lot of goals there. The 500 is one where you got a lot of distance, so you can do some of that planning. You train for the pace you want, but she also wants to try some sprinting this season. Jersey Smith has been one of our 500 swimmers throughout all the seasons. Not everybody likes the 500. It takes a special kind of person. So she's making some traction there. She came in this season kind of where she left off at sections last year, so she's only going to improve. And Olivia Jensen, a sophomore, she wanted to try it. She said, can I give the 500 a shot this season? She came in strong, and then once she had one race under her belt, I said, okay, now here's how you work on the pacing. Let's kind of set a goal time. Let's see what each 50 needs to come in at to be on that goal. And so she dropped 7 seconds, I think, from the meet in Brainerd to the meet in Alexandria, and she knows where there's some places for growth. So, yeah, our distance team looks strong.
And sprinters, you have some good ones.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, which is nice. In fact, your champions, like you mentioned, the depth really came through in the scoring here. You don't need to place first in every event to win a meet, but you had a couple of first-place finishes in the freestyle events, Estee Versteeg in the 100 and Ella Kopinski in the 50, and they're kind of like, I don't want to say they're automatic, but you sure feel confident when they're in an event, don't you?
That is true, yes. I know with Estee, she's going to get in the water and I know what she's going to do. So a lot of times I don't see her finishes because I'm like, oh, we need to get second here as well, or we need to get third. So I'm looking at the other lanes. I'm like, oh, she's already done. Of course she is, because she's super fast. But yes, you know what you're going to get out of them, and they just have that fast twitch that gets them off the block and down the pool pretty fast.
Yeah, and those sprint events, getting off the block is pretty important.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yep.
and your turns, of course,
yes,
very important.
Yep, not a lot of room for error.
No, How about Carly Peterson's race in the 100 breaststroke? She was a champion for you.
Yeah, Carly Peterson is strong in that breaststroke. Again, she's got some goals that she wants to meet this season, especially as we get closer to the section meet. Right now, like we were talking about, our girls are really excited about relays. You know, our relays are doing really well. So they have some plans of how they think that they can score the most points or be the most effective. So on Tuesday, we won't have Carly in the breaststroke because she wants to give that 400 free a shot too, which is right after breaststroke. So we want her to have some legs under her when she's swimming her leg of the 400 free relay.
And again, talking about the depth, you have a lot of girls that contributed with third, fourth place points for you. You have Maya Fear and Hannah Fear and Riley Kubala, and I'm going to miss someone, so jump in, will you? But a lot of girls that are really kind of finding their niche and their event and what their role is on this team.
Yes. Maya's always been a very strong sprinter. She really excels in relay. She's got a great relay start. Finding that timing is essential, and she's wonderful there. Riley Kubala has been voted by her teammates as most improved 2 years in a row, so we're going to see if she gets it this year too for the trifecta. But she started swimming as a freshman, and each year has just been blowing us away. So her freestyle sprinting is really coming along.
How about diving?
How about diving? Yeah. Elsa Bailey got a first place finish against Brainerd, and unfortunately she's been sick this week, so she was out all this week. She wasn't able to compete in Alexandria, but Michaela Mao was there. She took a second place finish, was really close. She looked amazing in Alexandria, so strong diving to move forward in this season.
All right, so we'll look for that to be a point scorer for you as well. Always tough. Central Lakes Conference, your schedule is always tough. And not only do you have one tough meet this week, you have two tough meets this week. Two tough meets, yes. Yeah. So how do you handle a two-meet week this early in the season, especially preparing for Sartell and Rocori?
Yeah, it's tough. When you have two meets in a week, that means you miss a day of training as well. So my girls will look forward to a Saturday practice next week. But it is tough. Sartell, we know, not a great chance of beating Sartell, so this is where I come to the girls and I say, hey, what do you really want to try? Let's get some times on the board. Let's see where you stand in this event you wanted to try and haven't yet. So we switched some things up there. With Rocori, we beat them last year. I think we got a shot this year. It's tough. They've got some really strong swimmers, especially in that 500. So we'll see how it goes. I do a lot of research. I look at all their times, and I try to get our girls either in the first place finish, like we said, or if we can 2, 3, 4, we still earn enough points to win that event.
What are your numbers like overall, 7 through 12?
We have got a big team. We've got 33 swimmers that are swimming JV varsity, and then we've got a few middle schoolers that are new developing, working with Coach Kowalski. We've got a group of 8th graders that is amazing. I have been blown away. I'll see some of these times. When we went to DL for the pentathlon scrimmage, 2 of our 8th graders came in, and I turned to my assistant coach. I'm like, oh, I don't think the time's right. I don't think the timing system's working. That's not really their time. And we had to look. I'm like, oh my gosh, they are blowing me away. They practice. They put in every single yard. They are showing up to meets. They're killing it. So we have got some strength coming up from 8th grade. Awesome.
Sounds like a fun future for the Otters in the water. Well, great win. Thank you, Rachel, for coming in, talking about your girls, and good luck this week with Sartell on Tuesday at home. Good chance for the fans to come out and see you at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
And then at Rocori on Thursday.
Yep.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Rachel Cox, head coach of the Otter Girls Swimming and Diving Team. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Spartan football coming up next. Bernard Holsey, the head coach of the Spartans, will join us as we continue the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Highs level off around 70 today under mainly sunny skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows around 49. Daytime highs approaching 80. Tomorrow, mainly sunny skies. Clouds on the increase Monday into Tuesday with highs in the mid-80s. Currently, it's 54 degrees.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls has a fantastic starting lineup with America's 3 favorite truck brands, Ford, Ram, and GMC. Nelson Auto can help you enjoy your time out on the road. Check out our starting lineup at Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls.
Quality Toyota is proud to salute the achievements of each quality player. It takes teamwork to compete, and the Quality Player Award recognizes the extra effort by an individual in each athletic contest. Quality Toyota commends the hard work, dedication, and quality efforts of these outstanding youth. That attitude will help each quality player as they go forward. Congratulations to each of the quality players from Quality Toyota on West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls. QualityToyota.net. Let's go places.
Finding that missing shin guard. Remembering whether it's a home or away game. Getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan.
Oh, come on, ref!
That's simple human sense.
Visit the Arneson Agency at their new location, 120 East Lincoln, Fergus Falls.
Student athletes have their eyes on the ball, making game plans, scoring points, breaking records. At American Federal in Fergus Falls, we know you have goals too. Whether it's buying farmland, business expansion, home ownership, or planning for retirement. Our trusted advisor, Dustin Morris, will help you find the best solutions and make the right calls. Make a winning appointment with an American Federal banker in Fergus Falls today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you secretly think of yourself as a cornhole champion? Now's the time to prove it. Wasota 100 is determined to bring even more than world-class racing. They're going to host a cornhole tournament on Friday starting at 11. Register at wasota.org before the bracket's filled. Thanks to Collin Brothers Towing and Minnesota Truck Headquarters. Get your bags on.
We are back live here on News Talk 1250 KBRF and on the KBRF YouTube channel. I'd like to introduce you to Bernard Holsey, the head coach of the Spartan football team. First year's head coach, but was with the program last year as an assistant. And Bernard, just a little background info for the fans out there who aren't familiar with you. How did you wind up in Fergus Falls?
Kind of a freak accident, honestly. I was actually coaching down in a professional developmental league down in Mobile, Alabama, and one of the podcasters who I guess must have been covering the league was down there. That league got shut down. And he reached out to me on LinkedIn because then I started doing the search for another job. I recently resigned from a head coaching job in Wisconsin, so I kind of wanted to get my feet wet in professional college, whatnot. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know a guy that has a job open for a D-line coach." So I said, "Oh, great." So he said, "Well, the pay's not much." I said, "Well, you know what? It's more about the experience more than the pay."
So. Let's talk about that a minute, because you're in a position here where you're getting kids who want to continue to play football at the next level after college. Community college football is not something that's really prevalent all around the United States. Minnesota has a pretty solid league, has had for many years. But when you look at coaching the kids who are coming out of high school and into their first experience collegiately, there's a lot more to it than football. How do you view that as a coach, as far as your role in forming these, not only these young men into football players, but into young men who can be successful?
Well, the biggest thing is to get them to understand what the regimen is like actually on a four-year level and, in the real world, so to speak. I know sometimes I think young men have a misinterpretation of what college football is all about. They think they have all this time and all this glamour, and you got time to shine and do different things. Don't get me wrong, you do have time to have fun, but at the same time, I don't want to say it's a business, because I always want to encourage guys to have fun and don't look at football as a job, but look at it as an opportunity to get better on and off the field, and to have fun doing basically a child's game. But also with that comes structure as well. You just can't roll out there. There's rhyme and reason why you do things, and that's what I'm trying to get guys to understand. And that goes into life itself. There's things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do to to make sure that whatever business you're in, whatever job you have, works smoothly, and you work smoothly with others.
How did the recruiting process go for you this last season? The first year as head coach, that's always such a challenge, no matter what level you're at.
Fortunately enough, I had a little experience coaching at that professional level, so I got a little bit of experience, like I said, with that. However, I mean, it was constant. You're on the phone. I'm not really a vocal person as far as speaking out. Usually I'm just kind of quiet and laid back, but I had to open my mouth and start talking. I usually don't express, talk about my professional career, but I have to talk about that more so to sell the school because, in junior college, as well as you well know, you don't have scholarships, so you have to sell yourself to sell the program, so to speak. So it seems like I spent more time talking about myself to the people I recruited versus asking them about themselves. Don't get me wrong, I did, but instead of a 15-minute conversation, it was usually an hour. I mean, I spent quite a bit of time on the phone and texting, on Twitter, and more. I'm big on having that conversation, over the phone, hearing somebody's voice. I've had a lot of Zoom meetings because I always want the parents to feel comfortable and knowing that, they're entrusting me with their young man. So I want them to put a face with a face so they can see me.
Absolutely. Well, the first game last week, you were down in Worthington, one of the long trips that the Spartans take. Every road trip's long, it seems. And Worthington got you 49-13 in the opener. As you look at your home opener today, what have you kind of worked on this week to kind of fine-tune things and get ready to host Central Lakes today?
Well, the biggest thing is we trust the process and trust in each other. I think there was moments when we had spurts of good things, and then when things go bad, sometimes you revert back to your old habits. And I just hit home on guys staying true to what we're teaching, what we're coaching, and what our game plan is. And let us correct you versus you trying to correct on the field, and try to make things second nature and just relax and play. I think I have a young team, a lot of first-year guys straight out of high school, so it makes a difference when you're going from a high school level to a college level. So I want them, just told them, hey, now you've got the first game under your belt, just relax, And now I think they get an understanding. Football is football. Obviously, I try to make it, and I say this quite a bit, is I want to make practice harder so the game is easier. So we try to bring out every scenario, push the guys, as hard as we can. Obviously you don't want to push them too much where you incur injury or serious fatigue, but you also want to push them mentally. That's the biggest thing. I always talk about the mentality of a team, and you have to have a strong mentality. The physical attributes are there, but it's always the mental that pushes you over the edge.
One of the things that amazes me about the college game, you get 3 minutes a quarter more than the kids played in high school. Okay, so you're playing 12 more minutes of football, and yet it seems like the pace of the game is so much faster than what they experienced in high school. Did you run into that last week where the game was just going so fast that it was hard to get in the moment and slow down and focus?
For me, not so much. Right. I think some of the guys might have gotten that moment, but I try to, every time they came off the field, every chance I get, I try to, at least talk. You can't talk, can't get to everybody, but I at least want to, have my coaches hit that point across. Just take every moment in itself and don't try to, make the game too big. And if you make a mistake, it's the next play. If you do something good, it's the next play. So you always want to have that mentality because you don't want to be too high and too low. And without that being said, I don't want to say that you can't celebrate. However, you also need to, regroup and get yourself back in that moment. And I think sometimes when young men go from high school to college, they get into the moment, oh, I'm in college, playing on the college level, and then they get caught up in the awe moment. And me, myself, I've been in that. I've got caught in that moment on college and professional level.
So what is your coaching staff like? I know, you look at the NFL coaches staff and it takes like 10 pages in the program to get through all the assistant coaches. That's not the case at the community college level. Who's working with you?
I have Coach Dante Wright. I have Coach Dave McKeever, Coach Malik Smith and Coach Jarvis Green right now.
Okay. So as you look at your team right now and seeing what you've seen in practice and one game under the belt, what can the fans expect to see out there? Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. What kind of an offensive team are you hoping to put out on the field?
Well, just better execution, more ball control. Hopefully we can, stay on the field longer and keep the defense off the field. I think our special teams obviously need to be a little better than we were. We had some mistakes on that, and defensive-wise, we need to tackle better, and trust. And that's the biggest thing when I was referring to trust. Some things that, some guys try to do extra, and I don't want them to do extra. I just want them to point out, do your job, and trust that the other guy's going to do his job. And it's all about trust all across the board.
Offensively, balanced attack? Are you going to be more run-heavy, pass-heavy? What's it look like?
I think whatever their defense gives us, I think we can do both. But, we're not going to put too much on our quarterbacks. I think we have a good running back duo and maybe actually trio maybe. And we're just going to try to be a balanced attack and, take what their defense gives us.
How about your line? Line recruiting is one of the challenges at the community college level for sure.
It is. I think we have a young offensive line, but I think we're getting better and we move some guys around. So I think we'll be better and we put guys in a position to be successful. So I think you'll see a better offensive line play. I think, our skill positions are outstanding. I think we'll be good and, everything will fit where it's supposed to fit.
Defensively, last week you scored a defensive touchdown, strip sack, fumble, touchdown.
Yes, sir.
One of the most exciting things that can happen, and really can be a game changer in the course of the action. What's your base defense going to be, and is this going to be a defense in your mind that is going to cause some problems, some turnovers?
Well, we base out of a forefront, and I put a lot of pressure on our defensive line just because I was a defensive lineman. I have that DNA, so I put a lot of pressure on them. We're going to just play good, sound defense, and obviously keep the ball within our reach. We're not going to try to definitely not get let the ball get deep on us. Stop the run. That's the biggest thing. Try to make them one-dimensional, and I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes I know with the passing game of today's age, everybody thinks, well, you stop the pass. It's still, if you look at offenses, they still run the ball because you run the clock out. So always want to stop the run first.
Jaden Manteufel, former Otter, is your kicker.
Yes, sir.
Your special teams, you touched on those briefly, but as the kicking game goes, how do you feel about your kickers and your punters and being able to kind of control the field position part of the game with your special teams?
I feel very well. I think Jaden has a very good leg. I think he understands what we're trying to get done. Very smart guy, and he likes it. He's very motivated and very spirited about the way our special teams have been going. And
the Spartan fans are going to be great today. It's a tremendous setting for a home game. You experienced it as an assistant coach last year. 1:30 kickoff fans, if you want to go watch the Spartans, a great time to do that is today. You only have 3 home games, so they got to make it work while they can, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Jason Retzloff will be there to cover the action on Channel 977 and AM 1020 if you can't make it to the game, but best scenario is go to the game and bring your headsets and listen to Jason at the same time. That's kind of the way it works. And Bernard, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to share of your past history. People want to know a little bit about you, and you were a collegiate player at Duke.
Yes, sir.
And then spent, 7, 8 years in the NFL?
7 years in the NFL. I'm happy to say, I'm glad you mentioned Duke because that's, where it all started. Honestly, fortunately for me, I had several different offers my senior year, and I always wanted to go to Duke, so I ended up going to Duke. And never in my wildest dreams, and never did I ever think that I was going to play professional football. That wasn't actually in my dream. That was never a dream of mine. But it's always my philosophy is be ready, don't get ready. So, ready for the opportunity, and fortunately, I went to the New York Giants, and that was a great fit because I think if I had gone anywhere else, I probably wouldn't have made the team. So, ended up playing 7 years in the NFL. I played 3 years of arena football, and also played a half a year in Canadian Football League.
Did you stay healthy through all those years?
I did.
Awesome.
I had a freak accident. In 2003, I actually tore my quad tendon working out, and fortunately, I've never been carted off the field. Never had any major injuries other than that, and I was able to come back and play arena ball for 3 or 4 years. So, I guess I'd say I'm a fortunate one, and not many people can say they played in 3 different leagues and played at a high level. So.
Okay. Final question.
Yes, sir.
What motivates you to coach these young men? Why are you still around the game of football working with these guys?
I always look back at myself and how there's a few people I can name, and I still keep in touch with, that motivated me, and I want to be that inspiration to these young men, because it does help and it excites me. And I tell people all the time, I said, I get more joy out of seeing them do things well as a coach versus me when I played. So that's my biggest motivation, is watching them do well and be excited about being successful on and off the field.
Awesome. Sounds like they're in a good spot to continue their schooling and their football. Thanks, Bernard, for coming in, and good luck today in the opener.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Bernard Holsley, the head coach of the Spartan football team, joining us here on our Coaches Show. And we're going to talk Otter girls soccer and girls tennis coming up here in the next half hour. So don't go away. More to come here on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
Portions of today's program may be pre-recorded.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Highs level off around 70 today under mainly sunny skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows around 49. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies. Clouds on the increase Monday into Tuesday with highs in the mid-80s. Currently, it's 54 degrees.
It's finally tailgating season. There's nothing better than pulling into a lot on a crisp fall day with your clean truck, grill, and cooler full of snacks.
Do you know what would make it even better? Pulling up in the truck I've been dreaming about from Minnesota Motor Company.
Hey, right now they have their tailgating sales event where all pre-owned trucks are on sale and come with tailgating gear like grills and coolers.
A sale price truck and a free grill?
Yep, just contact their awesome sales team for details. So, are you going to pick me up on the way to the game?
Of course.
The tailgating sales event is going on now at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. All their pre-owned trucks are at the lowest prices of the year and come with tailgating gear like coolers, grills, and more. So if you're looking for a new truck to bring to your tailgates this year, contact the sales team at Minnesota Motor Company for more information. South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Hi, my name is Lori.
Hey, we're back. Zach caught me by surprise there. Or I wasn't paying attention, one of the two. I think we'll go with Zach caught me by surprise. All right, we're back on our Coaches Show. Ben Juergens is with us, the head coach of the Otter girls soccer team. And the Otter girls had a game on Thursday with Wilmer where they lost 3-2. That was on the heels of a loss in Brainerd on Tuesday. And Ben, let's talk about Thursday was a special night because it was a mental health awareness also at that game, and I know that's something the Otters have been trying to bring into the forefront too, as a school and as athletic programs, and you tied in with some community businesses and members to promote mental health awareness, which is so important. You as a coach, of course, are connected with kids and see a lot of things out there where you can step in and be a help in that area.
Yeah, I have to give all the credit to Coach Paul Hicks and Coach Amber Hovland. The two of them worked together. Dandelion and Burdock clothing store downtown in Fergus Falls bought our shirts for us. That's Paul and Amy Hicks's business, and they also purchased shirts for Wilmer, and we were able to come together, and the Wilmer girls were able to take selfies and pictures with some of the things that we had hanging on the fence, some of the messages, some of the notes, and together as two teams got together before the game and were able to take pictures, and the girls talked a little bit, and then we went right into playing the game. So it was a great night. Coach Hovland and Coach Hicks did an amazing job of bringing this game to fruition and allowing the girls to continue to speak about mental health and hopefully raise more awareness.
Yeah, and then you went out and played just a tremendous game. It was a great battle. Wilmer took the lead. You tied them, got the lead, and then they scored late, and things went their way 3-2. But what were some of the things now at this stage of the season that you really thought you had improved on in that game, or that stood out to you as an area where you've seen just great improvement?
You know, I think with our team, we have a lot of great athletes that are playing the game of soccer, and so we don't necessarily naturally feel that connection, like that intrinsic, or not intrinsic, but that idea of knowing exactly where to be exactly before the action happens. And so we've been trying to do a little bit more film this year to try to show the girls exactly like when to break out of our zone faster, and I thought we did that a lot better against Wilmer. We watched a video on marking, which sounds relatively simplistic, but when the other team doesn't want to be covered, you know, it's kind of like a wide receiver and a defensive back. The wide receiver knows where they're going, and the defensive back has to react. And you know, until you show the girls like, here's what marking is. You know, it's not just standing next to the person. It's, you know, getting yourself involved with that person so that they are eliminated from getting the ball. And to be quite honest, I thought probably our marking was the best that we have done all year. We made it very, very difficult on Wilmer to try to get the ball inbounded on throw-ins, and you know, because a lot of times if there's a breakdown right away on a throw-in, it's going to lead to 2 or 3 pass series, which can very well lead to a goal, which we found out against Sartell and Brainerd, 2 very talented teams that we played. Anytime you made a mistake on a throw-in, anytime you made a mistake in the interior portion of the field, they made you pay with like a series of passes. And so I thought we really marked up well. I thought we were able to frustrate Wilmer to the point of really controlling a lot of that game.
Talk about Aubrey Nelson's goal that pulled you even at 1-1, and you mentioned in your report to me for the website article that she crashed the net, and when you do that, you head to the net in a situation develops up front, you might have some scoring opportunities, and she was able to finish. Right,
yeah, we were able to get an offensive opportunity, and we were able to push the ball up the field. And Aubrey got it maybe a hair out in front of her, but her speed is, you know, electric, and she was able to get a little toe poke in there before the goalie went down to get to the ball, and it couldn't have come at a better time. We had just gotten scored on after playing a really solid 5 minutes, you know, then you go down 1-0. This was a great opportunity for us to strike on a transition play, and Aubrey got behind their defense and used her speed and ability to score. She has a nose for the net. We ask our forwards all the time, crash the net. You never know if there's going to be a bobbled ball. Crash the net. You never know when you're going to be able to get a toe on it, even when you don't think you're going to be able to reach for it. And she did. She poked it right underneath the goalie and tied the game at 1, and the girls were ecstatic.
And Ava Eklund got the penalty kick to give you the lead. How did that unfold?
There was a handball inside the 18 box and by Wilmer, and that's really not a judgment call unless it's like protecting their face. But that's really not a judgment call inside the 18. Once it makes contact with your arm or hand, it's going to be called a PK. So I know Wilmer wasn't real happy with the call, but we were granted a PK, and that's our second one that we've been granted this year. And Ava Eklund's the player that's going to take it for us. She definitely has the heaviest shot on our team, and so not only does she have a great chance of scoring that PK, but even if the goalie catches a piece of that ball, she shoots such a heavy ball that it has a very good chance of still going in, and she hit a low liner, and the goalie never had a chance. I don't even think the goalie moved before it was in the net.
2-1 lead at that time, but Wilmer finished strong. They just kept coming at you.
Right. I think both teams, we considered as a coaching staff maybe going a little bit more defensively, but we still had 20 minutes left in the game, and the coaches, you know, said correctly, you know, let's see what we can do. You know, let's see if we can get another one. You know, going into a defensive shell, going into a prevent defense with 20 minutes to go, you're kind of asking for problems. And so we had numerous opportunities. We were pushing the envelope as much as we possibly could. We probably had 5 or 6 offsides that were called against us, and they were, but that was our forwards being advantageous to try to get that step on the defensive player. So the play went back and forth. It wasn't as though Wilmer just, you know, started taking it to us with the last 20 minutes. We had scoring opportunities. Ava Thompson made some absolutely amazing saves. I think it was the best game Ava Thompson has ever played for us. You know, a lot of times those shots are coming from a variety of angles, and they sometimes, you know, will deflect off of a goalie's hands or whatnot. But Ava had the right touch that night, and everything was sticking to her gloves, and she was solid from start to finish. Unfortunately, Wilmer were able to penetrate the defense a couple times, you know, working through midfield, and they were able to work the ball up the field and were able to get a couple goals on us late.
And you've got a 3-game week here starting Monday night, so this is a tough week competition-wise, and that affects your practice time, of course.
Right. It gets to about this time of the year where we start playing more games than we practice. And then a lot of times some of the girls are dealing with, you know, a banged up knee or a banged up foot or shin splints or a variety of different, you know, not small, but ailments that they have to deal with. And so you really start kind of having a makeshift crew at practice, because some of those girls just simply need the day off. Another day of the pounding on their legs isn't what they need. So we have a couple players, it seems, per practice that at times can't go just simply because the injuries that they've had. But yeah, we have a big game on Monday against Alec, and Alec is about the biggest team in Class 2A. We're about the smallest team in Class 2A. But Alexandria is always a great team to play against. They do things so well. They're so well coached, and they really do move up the field as a group so well. Their defense get involved in their offense. They're very advantageous as far as running up the sides of the field and you know, overlapping their midfielders and really becoming a part of their offense with the defensive players on their team. So it'll be a great game against Alexandria. We'll have to make sure that we're there and we have the energy that we had against Wilmer.
And hosting Ricori on Thursday. That's the one home game of the week for the Otters. Ben, thanks so much for coming in and talking about your girls. Have a great week.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Ben Juergens, girls soccer coach at Fergus Falls High School, joining us on the Coaches Show. We're going to wrap things up with Jamie Will, the girls tennis coach. And boy, they've been busy. They've been playing like every other day, it seems, since August. So we'll catch up with Jamie on how the Otters did this week with their 3 matches on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
Hi, my name is Lori, and I'm the housing manager at Sheridan House in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. If you're 55 or older and looking for a quiet and comfortable apartment with underground parking, meals available for purchase, a flexible month-to-month lease, plus $500 off your first month's rent, give me a call at 218-998-7404 or go to lbhomes.org/Sheridan. I'd love to show you around and see if Sheridan House is right for you.
Fall is a busy time for many families. School, after-school activities, and so much more. But don't let your packed schedule get in the way of your family's health. September is Suicide Prevention Month, a perfect time to pause and reflect on your family's needs. Lakeland Mental Health Center is here to help. Visit lmhc.org with services available in Alexandria, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, Glenwood, Moorhead, Parkers Prairie, and Perham. LMHC is here today to help for a better tomorrow.
Student athletes have their eyes on the ball, making game plans, scoring points, breaking records. At American Federal in Fergus Falls, we know you have goals too. whether it's buying farmland, business expansion, home ownership, or planning for retirement. Our trusted advisor, Dustin Morris, will help you find the best solutions and make the right calls. Make a winning appointment with an American Federal banker in Fergus Falls today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's the Coach's Show on Saturday mornings throughout the fall and winter season. Jamie Lill, the head coach of the Spartans on the brain. They play at 1:30 today. Football on Channel 977 with Jason Rutzloff. Otter girls tennis coach. I suppose if we added a tennis team at the college, you could coach that too.
Maybe, but I think I'd leave with tennis. I don't know if I should be coaching any football or anything yet.
I don't know. I heard you're pretty good in the powder puff games back in the day, Jamie. So
I like to push people around.
You were pretty dominant, I think, in those years, if I remember correctly. All right, we'll get to tennis here. 17 matches in 19 days. What'd you do on the other 2 days?
Ooh, yeah, we were bored, weren't we?
Yeah, right. Wow, you have had just a tremendous schedule here, and thankfully you slowed down to 3 matches this week, right?
Yes, that was refreshing for the girls, and looking forward, now we've got a normal load coming forward, and the girls are ready for that. We took yesterday off, the first time to breathe for those girls all season, and they've done a great job.
Well, Tuesday you had Alexandria, and Alexandria is always a challenge in any sport, it seems, but you had a great match with them. They won it 4-3, but the thing that you've done with all these matches you've played, you've had a number of quality opponents that just make you better.
Yes, absolutely. So the Alec match, which was a huge match for us on Tuesday, was kind of an interesting chain of events, honestly, and we get to see them again, and we're so thankful for that. But the way things wrapped up, our 1s and 2s all wrapped up first, and at that point we already had 3 points. So we're feeling pretty good. We got a set lead on both of our 3s, and we're feeling good, and things kind of started to unravel for us. We had a couple injuries happen, which I'm not used to a lot of injuries. I've got 3 girls out right now, just taking a little break. Nothing major, but we had to keep them out of the lineup for a while, and so things didn't end up going our way at the end of the Alec match. But great tennis for the most part. 4 matches that were 3 sets, and that's what we want, and that's what we hope for, and we're excited we get to see them again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, getting the wins from the top 2 doubles teams and number 1 singles is great, and it's happening regularly. You've got some real good consistency in those spots.
Well, yes, we have. So we've got Ashton and Hattie. They still haven't lost this year. They're 17-0 right now, and just really playing great tennis. And Ruby at the top there, even this week, she's the CLC Athlete of the Week this week.
Awesome.
Yes, and she's just rocking it. And honestly, we'll get to her next match, but she is playing some fantastic tennis these last few matches. And even though they're not all wins, she is improving and just showing why she's up there at 1 singles.
Yeah,
Yep.
wow. Well, you beat Detroit Lake 6-1 and then lost to Tech 4-3 in the 2 duels, a triangular over in DL. Talk about those 2 matches and, well, especially St. Cloud. What a battle that was.
Right, it was. Well, if I can mention DL quick,
Yep.
we got some girls that got to play their first varsity matches that day. We knew what to expect because we had gotten DL 7-0 the first time. And so we went into it knowing we should be confident and try some different things. And we got Julia Highcheck in. She got to play some doubles with Kaya Ness for her first varsity match. And a totally new duo for us. Siri Antonison Brown and Avery Bartholomew went in and just rocked it at third doubles. All of them got wins on their first time out there for us, so that was really awesome to see, and just kind of took care of business like we anticipated we would for DL. And then came Tech, and Ruby, who I just was talking about, played her best match of the season for sure, and it was a 6-3, 6-4 loss. But she played Paige Terali, who has been the #1 girl in our section for several years.
Forever.
Yep, forever. And she's got 3 sisters that did it before her. But this is the girl that Ruby played at sections last year, and she won 1 game. It was 6-0, 6-1. And Ruby went out there and was with her shot for shot. I mean, it's a few shots here and there. She got 7 games off her, pushed her to 6-3, 6-4. It was fantastic tennis. And Ruby, when she can hit hard and play like fancy tennis, like she can use drop shots and push people around, everything. She was having a great time out there just playing well. And even though it wasn't a win, it was great tennis. Their third singles girl kind of really dominated the 3 singles match, and she's a very tough player, and she typically plays 2 for them, so I think that was a great match for her. And then their 4th singles actually had a really good match too and took out Kaya. But Layla Zozo, we'll come back to her match because that was the dramatic one for us. Our doubles really just kind of cleaned house again. Ashton and Hattie, this was their toughest match, I would say, their toughest opponent so far this season, and it was 6-3, 6-2, so it was still fairly routine for them. They're doing a great job of just keeping their nose to the grindstone, and they're just like focused on what we can do. Even if we're ahead, we've got goals that we want to work on and improvements we can make. Carson and Dillon kind of rolled at 2, and then Julia Highcheck and Siri Antonison Brown did a great job. Unfortunately, we have to split courts in DL, so I was at one set of courts, I ran to the other one, I showed up, and Julia and Siri were down 3-5 in the first set. Went and talked to them, I'm like, what's going on? And they're telling me, and they really just focused, dialed in, and they came back to force a tiebreak, earn that tiebreak, and then just cruised in that last set. So that was awesome to see from them, and to make adjustments on the fly on their first day trying out varsity. So great stuff. And then we'll come back to late. So then the match is tied 3-3, and we got Layla's match going, and it goes to a third set, and all the makings of just dramatic finish. And in the end, Tech got her 7-5. But great stuff everywhere. And honestly, so now we've got 3 team losses. All were 4-3s. Nothing we're worried about at all. And this one was a 4-3, and we had 3 girls that couldn't play that day due to these injuries. So we're excited. We get to see Tech again, and we're looking forward to that. But really, the girls are playing great tennis. And the exciting thing for us now is that we can slow down a little bit and play a more reasonable schedule.
Yes, that will be good, and maybe get some practices in, right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
so what do you emphasize in practice at this stage when you've had so many, meets and days where you had to be focused in? Do you have any light practice days where you just kind of have some fun, maybe some fun challenges, or do you just stick to business and just, work on shortcomings on the court? What do you do?
Well, we try to keep that varied as much as we can, and that's we will always pick out a few things that we see as things we should go back to the drawing board and practice, like whether it's our serving or using the whole court in doubles or whatever it is, and choosing shot selections and thinking through where we need to be. And we always do that. But this is where my coaches, Jesse Schneeberger and Roy Anderson, come in handy, and they help me remember that we're going to have some fun out here, too, and keep things light when we can, because the girls are doing awesome, but sometimes I can get kind of intense in my own brain about making sure we make every minute of every practice work, and sometimes just having a little fun is the way to do that.
Right. Are you getting some exhibition matches in, or is that, it all depends on your opponents, what they have depth-wise, too?
We absolutely are. Every match we've had, except for the one that was a rain-out and make-up indoors, our entire 36 girls that are out for tennis play every time we go out there.
Awesome.
And sometimes the JV gets a singles match and a doubles match, and that's one thing about tennis. If you're out there, we're going to get you playing every time. We don't have to sit on the bench. You get to go out there and play.
Awesome. And you've got a 3-match week this week, one of them a triangular on Thursday in Bemidji, but you open up with Brainerd on Tuesday at home, 4:30, if the fans want to catch this team in action. So what are your goals for this week and the matches that you have?
So looking ahead, we've seen Moorhead, so we know a little bit what to expect. We got them 6-1. It doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy match for us, but my emphasis this week, Brainerd and Bemidji, neither team have lost yet. And a lot of their players individually have not even lost yet. Like Bemidji's got some 12-0, 11-1 type scores, I guess. I don't know. Records, there's the word. But so we're going to probably see the 2 toughest teams from our section this week. I'm anticipating some great tennis. We're looking at what kind of lineup to throw out there. We only see Brainerd and Bemidji once, so we only get one crack at them before playoffs. But I don't shy away from wanting this matchup to happen, but those teams are looking really good. But so are we.
Yeah,
so I'm
absolutely.
pretty excited about it. We used to have years where we dreaded the Brainerd or the Bemidji match, and we do not dread. We want this, and we're excited for high-level play and see what the girls can do and just go out there and show what all our hard work has done.
So you have the home meet Tuesday. What have the crowds been like? Are you seeing increased interest from fans, or is it kind of the same amount of fans?
It's kind of the same. I'll be honest, Craig. Tennis fans are often relatives, but we get some that come and check us out. But we get great support from the people who come check us out. We can always use more fans, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your home meets are at Kennedy.
Yes.
Primarily, but you have, like you said, everybody's playing. So there are matches probably all over the...
Yep, we take uptown. Our varsity plays at the Kennedy courts and the Freiburg, just the North Kennedy courts. They're still on the school campus. And some JV plays there, and then the rest of our JV is at Broadway. So you can catch us in. We've only got 2 more scheduled home events, so come check it out if you want to. But we're pretty road heavy the end of the season. We only have 2 of our last 9 at home.
Wow. Yeah, here it is, September 7th?
Yes.
And you've got 2 home meets left. That's weird.
That is, yeah, unfortunate timing kind of for it, but it works out. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, you've enjoyed having all the home meets so far.
Absolutely,
I'm sure, but,
absolutely.
Yeah, you'll be road warriors. I guess that'll prepare you well for the playoffs, you know.
Yep, we'll be set to go.
Yeah. How do things look? And we're ways off, I know, from playoffs, but how do things look as far as if you were to seed the teams today, what would it be like?
I could not even guess. This week will tell a lot. I think 1, 2, 3, 4 are going to be Bemidji, Brainerd, Alec, and us. And we get to see Alec again, so I'm not putting them ahead of us yet.
No.
And Bemidji and Brainerd we'll find out this week.
Well, you've got a lot of motivation for your girls, for sure.
Absolutely.
And a great experience and some great results. So looking forward to what should be a fun finish to a fast season for the Otter girls. But I'm glad you get a little break here.
Yes, and we're hoping for a few more slow days because we've got 3 girls. Like, we're trying to get them back on the courts, and we're just waiting for Todd to give them the clearance that we're healthy again. We don't want anybody to get hurt or hurt worse or anything, but when we're at full strength, I feel really confident going into things.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Jamie.
All
Great
right.
job.
Thanks a lot, Craig.
Jamie Will, the head coach of the Otter girls tennis team, joining us here on the Coaches Show, and we're here every Saturday, fall and winter from 8 to 9:30 with the coaches from Fergus Falls, and we had Bernard Holsey on today from the college. A reminder, the college plays at 1:30 today, football against Central Lakes from Brainerd, and that one will be on channel 977 FM and AM 1020. Jason Retzloff will have the call. Bison play at 2:30 rather, pregame at 1:30 over on Real Rock Z103, and then tomorrow at noon it's the Vikings and the New York Giants, and that's the NFL opener for the Vikings, and you'll hear the Vikings on Real Rock Z103, and don't forget the Twins are still playing too. They're in a pennant race. They'll play tonight. You'll catch the action from Kansas City at 6:10 here on News Talk 1250 KBRF. For Zach Daniels in the studio, Craig Olson, thanking you for joining us on our KBRF YouTube channel and on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Join us next week for the Coaches Show.
Rusted out and dangerous in our part of the world, at least. Finding the replacement in a similar cost factor is going to be tough.
All right. Well, it's that time again. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple